Go ahead and lean on me. Lean on me. Sometimes in our lives, we all have pain. We all have sorrow. But if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Swallow your pride. If I have things you need to borrow, for no one can fill those of your needs that you don't let show. So just call on me, brother, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem that you'd understand. We all need somebody to lean on. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. And if there is a load that you have to bear, that you can't carry, I'll ride up the road, I'll share your load if you just call me. Lean on me when you're strong, and I'll be your friend. I help you carry on. Oh, it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. So just call me, oh, just call me, oh, just call me, oh, just call me.
The household of God is the household of love and peace. It is the secret place of the Most High. All exist in this household as divine beings. The consciousness of the Most High has room for all in the unity of good. Each member of this household is at peace with all members of this household. This is a community of peace, of understanding, of fellowship, of love and unity. Beloveds, as we pause to give thanks for this opportunity to be together, to recognize the one life that lives all, is that which is back of all, and recognize it as love, as peace, as wholeness, as that infinite intelligence and unity of all. I welcome us. I know that each is on their own divine right path, and that Reverend Bobby this day speaks to us that which Spirit has for each of us to hear, to know, and to live. So it is with great joy, with great expectancy, that we allow this service to unfold in the highest and best. And together we say, and so it is.
Do the announcements. My name is Sean Mejia. Who we are. I honor the place in you which is the entire universe dwells. I honor the place in you which is love, truth, light, and peace. When you are in that place in you, and I am in that place in me, we recognize that we are one. Namaste. I learned practical science mind tools and practice in a loving, connective, and vibrant community to reveal my power and to change my life. And how do we do this? We do this through awaken, realize, transform, and repeat. Our power statements: we are a thriving, dynamic, spiritual community. Hashtag we are namaste. Hashtag this stuff works. The Namaste Virtual Choir is on hiatus, so we are taking a break, and we will return after the new year on January 8th. And always remember, you can connect with us every morning at 7 a.m. All the information is online. And this month, what is going on Wednesday nights? This month, we are digging deeper, starting at 7 o'clock, and this week on the 11th, Living the Science of Mind, which is going to be led by our new minister, Reverend Veronica Silva. Thank you very much. Back to you, Candace.
Beloveds, let us go deeper into the sacred pause. I invite you to close your eyes if that's comfortable for you. Let us leave behind the activities and the thoughts that are running around in our heads and gently quiet our minds and come to rest. Rest in the inner knowing. Rest in the truth of harmony, of love, and of peace. I invite you to place your hand on your heart and to feel the life force. Feel your energy. Feel your strength. Feel that living Spirit Almighty that is living you, breathing you. Take a deep, slow breath in and releasing anything that is troubling you, allowing yourselves to be still. I invite you now to journey from your head to your heart. Once again, place your hand on your heart. Sense the rise and the fall of your chest as you breathe in spirit and exhale spirit. Sense our oneness. Sense our oneness with the divine, the indwelling presence. Sense the miracle of life that is you, that is me. Now, in your mind's eye, see your heart expand. See your heart radiate love out into the world. Feel your heart radiate peace. Feel love from all living beings coming back to you. Feel peace from all living things coming back to you. Feel that love and peace moving through you. Feel that love gently moving into every cell of your body. And now notice and observe your breath as it enters your body and leaves your body. Feel yourself in your seat wherever you are. Observe how you're feeling. Feel the support of the seat beneath you. And feel the oneness of life. And gently now bring your attention back into this space, back into this moment. Give thanks for this opportunity to commune with the Holy and the Most High. And whenever you are ready, I invite you to open your eyes. My name is Candace Stein, and I'm one of the licensed practitioners here at the Namaste Center for Spiritual Living. I share my journey with you because I think it's a lot like everyone else's. We're called practitioners because we practice, and we practice, and I practice, and I practice. And over these last months and weeks of this tremendous amount of uncertainty in our world, I've been reminded of many of the things I have learned along my journey that began over 20 years ago here at Namaste Center for Spiritual Living. And the principle of oneness has bubbled up many, many, many times. And I remember a talk that I heard. And in that talk, the Reverend spoke about in the oneness that we all exist. If I speak disparaging things or think disparaging things of another, I'm actually assailing that against myself. And that was really a wake-up call, because I don't need or want to do that to myself, let alone to another. But we're human, and I'm human, and I get caught up in things. And while I don't want to inflict those ill feelings on myself and another, I have to stop and ask, maybe my prayer is just to remember in whatever moment that I'm having of confusion and uncertainty, that's the prayer. Let me remember. Let me remember the oneness, the wholeness that is spirit, in and as me and in and as you and everyone. So I welcome you into my practice with me. And I am so glad and delighted to be here at Namaste with all of you, where I know that we are practicing these principles together of oneness, of love, and of peace. Namaste.
I want to say hello to my friend JP over here on the cello. Sometimes you don't get what you want, you just get what you need. Saw her today at the reception, a glass of wine in her hand. I knew she was gonna meet her connection. At her feet was a footloose man. I know you can't always get what you want. You can't always get what you want. You can't always get what you want. But if you try sometimes, you just might find you get what you need. I went down to the demonstration to get my fair share of abuse, singing, we're gonna vent our frustration. If we don't, we're gonna blow a 50 amp fuse. Cause you can't always get what you want. You can't always get what you want. You can't always get what you want. some time, you just might find you get what you need. Get what you need. I went down to the Chelsea drugstore to get your prescription filled. I was standing in line with Mr. Jimmy, and man did he look pretty ill. Well, we decided we'd have a soda, my favorite flavor, cherry red. I sung my song to Mr. Jimmy, and he said one word to me, and that was dead. Oh, 'cause you can't always get what you want. No, you can't always get what you want. You can't always get what you want. But if you try sometimes, you just might find you get what you need. You get what you need. You get what you need. What you need. And if you try sometimes, you just might find get what you need.
Oh, that was worth every moment. You know, I don't know about you, but this has been quite a week. It's been quite a week. And I say that I don't have to explain that, do I? Right? Is anybody not been, into what's been happening this week? So my talk today is, what is God giving you? And I would say, what is God giving us? There's a story in the book of the month, Start Where You Are, Pema Chodron. And she talks about the story. She tells a story of Juan. And Juan is a young man from Los Angeles who grew up in a violent neighborhood. And she said he was really, really smart. And he sometimes came off really mean. He snarled and he walked around with a big, big chip on his shoulder. His world was so rough. Acting like the baddest and the meanest thing was the only way he saw he could survive what was happening for him. He was one whose primary coping skill was to blame others. He does not own that. He was brilliant, and he was one that Pema talks about that you could love and hate equally. He would slap people, he'd push them around, and he would say when he did that he could do so much worse. So that just seemed very light in his world. He was sent to Boulder, Colorado, and he lived with a family for the summer. Remember, he's 15, and or maybe I didn't say, but he's 15, and he lived with a family that practiced Buddhism, and he was able to come to an event where Trungpa Rinpoche was at. And he's like, when you say Rinpoche, it means that they're enlightened in a sense. They teach the Dharma. They could be the Dalai Lama, but it is someone of high stature in the Buddhist teaching. So he was at the event, and at the end of the event, Rinpoche sang the Shambler Anthem. Now, I don't know what this anthem is, but when Rinpoche sang it, he did not have a singing voice. And he did not sing on key. He was very high-pitched. He was squeaky, and he had a cracked voice. And most everyone in the room that knew him knew he would do it and were immediately so turned off by it, and they just wanted it to end. Well, what's interesting is it was an outside event, and his voice, Rinpoche's voice, traveled very far across this meadow. And everyone was feeling awkward, but Juan, this young 15-year-old boy, started to cry. And later, when asked, he said, "That was so courageous. This guy's not afraid to be a fool." In his world, he said, it's all about not being a fool. It's all about being tough. It's all about a particular look, a particular way of being seen. And I think sometimes it's interesting I think as I've grown older, there are times when it doesn't matter what people think of me, but as a human being, it's almost impossible to not have some sense of being worried or concerned about what people think. What Pema Chodron talks about is that place that Juan had covered with that meanness and that just refusing to be seen and vulnerable. She said the way he acted covered his soft spot. So in that moment, what he learned was that he didn't have to worry about being a fool. And he went back, he went to college, he ended up teaching young people how to lead a violent life. And ultimately, we see that there are behaviors and things we do and others do that is really just guarding the soft spot. I ask this question because I think in watching the news and social media, the question I keep going over and over is, what is it we think is against us? Because throughout the week in the news, the media, there is this other that is against whoever it is. Sometimes it's our president, our current president, in which that is the blame put upon. Sometimes it's the Republicans, sometimes it's the Democrat, sometimes it's this media or that media. But always creating another side, the other side, is really an issue. Last week I was talking about, in service, I was talking about the win-win and how can we have a win-win. We cannot have a win-win if someone has to lose. We cannot. Because Brené Brown talks about winning is sometimes just showing up. It's not about coming in first. This week, what I felt is nobody won anything. Nobody won. And in my heart, I kept looking at, as I was seeing the fear in folks that had placed power in an individual, specifically whether it was Trump, or folks that placed power in Biden and Kamala Harris. And I think about that because no one person has power. We all have no idea, but exactly everything that we're thinking about, everything that we're affirming, I feel like I'm living 4 years ago in reverse. And I'm looking at this opportunity that the fact is that there is a universal pattern. There's a universal pattern. And we are indeed saved by knowing and surrendering to this universal pattern of reality. Knowing the full pattern allows us to let go of our first order. Now, Richard Rohr, another book I'm reading is The Wisdom Pattern. It's about order, disorder, and reorder. Knowing the full pattern allows us to let go of our first order, trust the disorder, and sometimes even hardest of all, to trust the new reorder. Something is shifting right now, and it's shifting in a huge way. And it's not shifting in my way. If my candidate won, it is not shifting in my way. Let's be clear. It's shifting. And I have an opportunity to see and explore what this pattern is. Richard Rohr talks about the fact that there are 3 big leaps of faith for all of us, and each of a different character to see order. Disorder feels like we are in such disorder right now. It's our perception. But what's really important about this is we have to recognize that in order for us to change the pattern, we cannot behave as we've behaved through the last 4 years. Anybody. We cannot blame one side or another, as much as I would like to. But I can act. I can act for the things that I believe in. I can act in making sure that Black Lives Matter. I can act in making sure that the Me Too movement has power. I can act and make sure that homophobia and transphobia begin to be eradicated by my own actions and the things that I support. Ernest Holmes always said, can you find me 1,000 people who can be against nothing and for everything? I often think about this movement that's been happening over the last 4 years. It felt like it went by so slowly, and it felt like it went by as fast as anything I could imagine. The question I ask myself is, and I have to ask myself is, how have I contributed to the rage, the anger, the fear that is so prevalent right now? In Pema Chodron's book, she says that 2 billion other sentient beings are feeling the exact same rage that you are at this moment. They may have a different object, but the object isn't the point. The point is the rage itself. We must work with our own rage so that the rage of the world can be diffused. How would your life be different if you lived as if nothing and no one was against you? How would I live my life different if I believe that nothing and no one is against me? The things that bother us, that rage or whatever it happens to be within us that has such power, it's because we've given it that kind of power. Now, let's just have some grace around this too, because it's this race consciousness. We call it race consciousness, which is sort of the collective consciousness of what's happening, has a lot of power because it's being fed. It's being fed moment by moment. But the divine nature of who we are is always as us, within. It does not have to be earned. I do not have to meditate every day to know it, but it sure helps. I have to meditate every day because I forget. Because I forget and I get caught up in the rage of the day. And I forget that I don't have to earn it. You see, because what has God given me? This is what God has given me. God is in it all. God is in the rage. God is in the White House. God is in the White House. God will be in the White House again on January 20th. But God doesn't leave. It does not change. There's a pattern of reality. It isn't linear, and it has bumps, and it has turns, and it has detours, because that's how we learn. Paula Darcy says, God comes disguised as my life. Not just mine, but every person out there that bugs the hell out of me. I'm grateful it's a short list nowadays. Right now, our present is falling apart. And it must fall apart, because if it does not fall apart, we are less likely to see that there is something more. And we must grow into the ability and to realize that we have the capacity to feel it all. In Pema Chodron's book, she gives you an exercise, a spiritual practice to be able to feel it all. We have the capacity to feel it all. Now, the question I ask is, how many of you, as soon as you start to feel it, do this? Or do this, right? Or turn the TV on, or get up and go do something. I mean, it's so easy to do And I think what's really interesting is between Netflix and Amazon Prime and Hulu and a host of other things, I can distract myself forever. But I can bet you it's getting a little old now. I find it so interesting that we're in a pandemic with an election, with the tension, the racial tension that has been shined a light upon, everything else that's happening. It's as if we're going to now learn at the speed of light. What do I get to do this week? You see, the point of the matter is I feel like I'm being invited to make sure there's a space at the table for everyone, including the people that really bug me. Yep. Jesus talks about the fact that the kingdom of heaven may be compared to a king who gave a wedding feast for his son and sent his servants to call those who were invited to the feast, but they would not come. Again, he sent other servants saying, "Tell those who are invited, see, I have prepared my dinner. My oxen and my fat calves have been slaughtered and everything is ready. Come to the wedding feast." But they paid no attention. They went off, one to his farm and another to his business. We're all invited. I can hold on to the pattern that I've been practicing for so many years and so perfectly well. But there's an invitation out there to work in the deep of truth. I can waken even in the most troubling of times. In fact, these times demonstrate both my best and my worst. But there's an importance to that. As my worst comes up, I can pause. I can breathe in and feel it all, what I'm feeling, not about the object, but the feeling that I'm feeling. I can breathe in what I'm feeling, whether it's hate or rage or fear, anger, whatever it might be, and I can breathe out compassion. And I can diffuse and transmute exactly what was into something much, much bigger. Now, we know this in Science of Mind, that anytime something bugs us, it's not the first time. We have our own little pattern. What we teach in this philosophy is we teach people to manifest lives that are their deepest desires. But we're not really teaching people to manifest. We're teaching people to recognize manifestation. Because if I think that the only time something is manifested is because I've thought about it, that's just because I'm being conscious in the moment. But what's happening right now in our country, we've all contributed to. There is not one person that hasn't, except maybe the Dalai Lama. And a few other folks that have been out there holding and being this container for shifting. We've all contributed to it, even the shift itself. Every time I sit down and meditate, every time I choose something different, every time I choose not to post something that is angry and competitive. Every time I sense an opportunity of not capturing my win, but the fact that there are so many people in pain and fear. How do I contribute to less of that? Then I must contribute to more love and peace. When I go to the store, I have an opportunity to smile and be present with people. When I'm on the freeway, I have the opportunity that when someone cuts me off to know, you know what, they're doing the best they can. I have the opportunity in this time, which I can't even explain, is to demonstrate kindness and fellowship and humility. There's sometimes we think that it's like our ability or capacity is like walking a tightrope across a gorge. We can walk across the tightrope, it's very thin, And we can prove that we can do it. But the truth is that God is like a big wide highway. We can travel at any speed, and we have plenty of room to move. If I'm walking this path like I'm on a tightrope, I don't have to. I can walk it with a view as wide as I have the capacity to do so. I can walk it knowing that there's room for everyone in their fear, everyone who's characterizing the other side. If I happen to be that other side, I can just stop and not be inflamed by it. I can look at the fact that for me, what I did this week was I really wanted to and exercised a lot of patience with people, because something about this time, I want it to be different. I don't want to repeat it. And I have to believe, just based on the fact that I have the divine authority to do that, we are a community of love. And it only takes a few people to grow that love into something that cannot be stopped. It doesn't take that many. Ernest Holmes said, "Humanity and divinity will be identical when we recognize divinity in humanity. We must learn to see through the apparent, to judge not according to appearance." I would say also in what people say, in what people feel, and how they show up. To realize that the center of every person's soul, God is enthroned. Compassion and caring are the ties that bind us together in mutual understanding and in the unified attempt to uncover the divinity in each other. Compassion is the most gentle of all virtues, for it is the outpouring of the divine givingness through all. When the members of a community love one another, that community is solid, prosperous, and happy. Suppose we make a daily habit of feeling that we like people. What if the habit of feeling that we like people and they like us? We belong to them and they belong to us. In a very real sense, everyone we meet is part of our own family to love and to enjoy. There is a center of the storm. There's a center of every storm. It's called the eye. And in that eye of the storm, it is quiet and it is still. I challenge each one of you this week to reach out to somebody you're not so comfortable with. Reach out to what you call the other side. Reach out in love and kindness and humility. Reach out knowing that there are people right now who feel like the world is over, it's ending. They're that terrified. Reach out as if we all matter. No one is against you, not even your own life. So I'm just going to close with this. If consciousness is in bondage to the past, or if attention is mesmerized according to ingrained patterns of awareness, the future is simply an extended line from here to tomorrow. That's what makes it predictable. We keep repeating things because our attention is in a pattern. We think we know what's going to happen. If you're candidate one, you're thinking, now it's all going to be okay. It was always going to be okay. But for us to change and to raise the consciousness of this nation, of this planet, We must be part of the action that is okay. We must be part of that loving kindness. You see, what is next is up to us. It is up to us. It is not up to who wins. It is up to us. So let me just call to prayer. The song, you can't always get what you want, but you get what you need, reminds me that right here and right now there is God, God in all things, God in every event, situation, and circumstance, God unfolding as each one of us, God unfolding as both President Trump and President-elect Biden, God unfolding as the left and the right and the middle, the independent and the libertarian, God unfolding as all of it. Ultimately, what I know about this recognition is God is me, God is you, God is all of us, every creation. I declare right here and right now that I see the face of God in everyone. And as I speak that I speak that for each person who is watching or listening or who will listen, that is part of this community. At Namaste, we see the face of God in everyone. And we step into that greater consciousness, that secret of the Most High place of God, knowing that we are all part of that divine family, every one of us. So this week, I choose to act like it. I choose to be that. I choose to accept that in this transition, this shift, that I have power by my choice, by what I choose to think, but I choose to act upon, and how I choose to treat others. I know that the last 4 years have been absolutely perfect, because we have all risen to a greater understanding and awareness of our place in democracy, that we must participate. We must not delegate, we must participate. So we choose to do that. We choose to stand up for those that do not have a voice. We choose to stand for those that may be characterized as less. They are not. We choose to stand in our own truth and to make a fool out of ourselves in doing it. We will take risk, we will be vulnerable, and we will be love. Because we are love. So I hold this prayer knowing that the power of the word is infinite, that the law has already accepted this word, and I just let it go into God now, and I allow it to be so. And so it is. Amen.
Something's calling me. Something's calling me. Something's calling me a little bit deeper than I've ever been before. Feels like I'm walking on marble. Can't steal the earth beneath my feet. Is my head in the clouds, my naked legs left dangling? I can feel my heart begin to pound. And everybody said, something's calling me. Something's calling me. Something's calling me a little bit deeper than I've ever been before. Long dark night, my soul in wonder. Can't see the light that moves in me. God is everything and everywhere that I belong. Spirit, gently wake me from my sleep. Oh Lord, take me deeper than I've ever been before. Oh Lord, oh Lord, pull me deeper than I've ever been before. Oh Lord, I know I'm not the only one to live inside these rooms. Oh Lord, oh Lord, I surrender my life to you. Oh Lord, oh Lord, I give my life to you. Love is calling me a little bit deeper than I've ever been before. Compassion's calling me a little bit deeper than I've ever been before. My faith keeps calling me a little bit deeper than I've ever been before. Peace is calling me a little bit deeper than I've ever been before. God is calling me, and I'm grateful like I've never been before.
Thank you, Kong. Thank you, Jean-Paul. Beautiful. Oh. There's a story of a man that's walking down the street, and he falls into a hole. And as far as he can tell, it doesn't look like there's a way out. And a priest walks by. He says, "Father, help me get out of the hole." And so the priest says a prayer for him and walks on. And the guy's like, "Oh, okay." Then his doctor walks by and he says, "Hey, doc, can you help me get out of the hole?" And the doctor writes him a prescription and throws it down in the hole. And he reads it and he goes, "What am I going to do?" And a friend walks by and she jumps in the hole. He goes, "Are you kidding me? You jump in the hole? How are we going to get out?" She goes, "Well, I've been in a hole before and I know how to get out." That's what we do. That's what we do. We have that opportunity right now. This is the time of our conscious giving. So I just ask you to take that gift that allows us to do exactly what we do, that allows us to have the music. Thank you, Kong and Jean-Paul and Miguel, for really setting the tone for the music in this space. For Candace and the beautiful, beautiful share, the invocation, who she is. We have Valerie Day here, who's been holding vigil and opened us up and blessed the space. Our beloved Board of Trustee, our Vice President now, Sean Mejia, who's here and gave those great announcements, and Tori Sina, who's our now treasurer on the board, who's amazing as director. And she's laughing right now because, stuff happens. It's such the great metaphor of life all week. Life happens, and how we respond to it is really everything. And so I ask that you take that gift that you have, which is you, which affords us the ability to do what we do. This beautiful space that we've moved in, I'm so grateful for it. It's such an amazing space, and I'm so excited when each one of you get to be here. We have plans as Namaste. We have some exciting things happening. So the gift that we give is our tithe that gives so that we may be spiritually fed. We give because we've been spiritually fed. So I just take that gift, place it on your heart. Whether you've given it through Gift Plus or PayPal or Venmo or whatever it might be. If that check you write all the time, whatever it might be. Just hold that idea, that gift that continues to support the spiritual development, the spiritual feeding of this community we call Namaste. It does not matter what or how much I give. It matters that I do. And that is true. So let us bless this gift, knowing that it continually expands. It is the life-giving force, one of them, of how we operate in our world. And I see this as energy, beautifully expanding, and I bless it, knowing that it is all good and very good. And so it is. Amen. So we're going to do our benediction before we say goodnight. It's so weird. It's dark outside. It's windy. I'm wearing like 3 layers right now because it's been cold. I want to also say thank you to our Board of Trustees, how amazing they are. I spent the day with them yesterday, and we planned what kind of board we're going to be this next board. So let us just say prayer with that in mind, of all the beautiful things that are coming for Namaste. We are Namaste. So say this with me. Something wonderful is happening through me right now. Wait, what is it? It is this thing called life. Life is in my mind. Life is in my body. Life is all that I am. Life is all that we are. I accept it. I am it. I share it with all. Just the way it appears and just the way it appears not. Thank you, life. So we're going to now close with Kong and Jean-Paul. Please.
Thank you, Namaste. 1, 2, 3, 4. Something great is happening. Love is taking hold, and it won't let go of us now. Something here is calling us forward, upward motion. We're drops in one ocean. Oh, will you rise up with me today? Lift up your voice and boldly say, we are the ones we've been waiting for. Live the dream of your highest calling. Be the hope of a new day dawning. We're the ones who can make a difference. Let's stand together. Share your gifts with the world that's waiting for a change that we're all creating. It's a moment for our greatness. Let's stand together now. Together now. Every day's a chance you can do something amazing to feel your passion blazing and shine. Paint with every vision and dance in new directions. Explode to new heights in your mind. I will rise up with you today. Lift up my voice and boldly say, we are the ones we've been waiting for. Live the dream of your highest calling. Be the hope of a new day dawning. We're the ones who can make a difference. Let's stand together. Share your gifts with the world that's waiting for a change that we're all creating. It's a moment for our greatness. Let's stand together now. One dream, one heart, one voice, one word. Sing it with me. One dream, one voice, one heart, one word. One more time. One dream, one voice, one heart, one word. Hey! Huh. Live the dream of your highest calling. Be the hope of a new day dawning. We're the ones who can make a difference. Let's stand together now. Share your gifts to the world that's waiting for a change that we're all creating. It's a moment for our greatness. Let's stand together now. One dream, one heart, one voice, one word. One dream, one heart, one voice, one word. Yeah, one more time. One dream, one voice, one heart, one word.
Thank you for joining us this week. Namaste. Next week is going to be something special. Please look at our newsletter. We're going to be meeting together physically as a whole community. We're trying to work out a few details. We'll be sending an email out. We'll be sending the newsletter out with that information. Oh my gosh, I miss all of you. Oh, I miss all of you. Thank you for being here this evening. Thanks to everyone for making this possible. Have an amazing week.